the perspective of the, let's say, policy making, it's good to have a Europe-wide indicators. And then regional. Why? Because, you know, being a union, everything is judged by the people at the level of union. And I will tell you something, one industry comes to me, not in the marine, but in the water, saying we are idiots that we imposed such kind of conditions when in Europe they are not doing the same. And we are blocking the development. Okay, just this is my brief introduction. I want, and you know, that we will have 4 speakers in our panel. And our first speaker is Mr. Angel Borja. He has a PhD in marine biology and works as a principal investigator. Maybe I was a little bit to understand what means principal investigator. Seems to be FBI, it's not FBI, it's AZTI Tecnalia, which is a private research foundation. And also he's a member of the Scientific Committee of the European Environmental Agency, and he's author of a large number of publications. I think that you could start and just introduce on the experience on this issue, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the presentation, and I'm going to, and also to the organizers for inviting me to present here the DEVOTES project. This is a large European project in which we are dealing with the Marine Strategy Framework Directive, but here I'm going to give you an overview mainly in indicators for healthy oceans. The challenges we are facing in these projects are numerous, are various. The first one is the interaction between pressures, impacts, and also climate change. As yesterday was presented for several speakers, this relation between pressures, impacts, and the first objective of this project is to understand these relationships. So this is the work package 1. The second work package faced the challenge of the cost-benefit analysis of different measures to be taken. For example, identify the barriers and bottlenecks that prevent to achieve good environmental status in European seas. And this is the work package 2. The work package 3 deals with the role of indicators, and this is why we are presenting this today here. And also understanding the meaning of the good environmental status. For doing this, we are dealing with the test indicators and develop new indicators when necessary. This is the work package 3. And then we also need to face the challenge of reduced monitoring costs during this economical crisis. And also we need to develop new monitoring tools in order to assess the status. And also another important issue is to integrate all the information, all the descriptors and all the indicators into a single assessment tool. For doing this, we have 3 work packages, one on innovative modeling, another in innovative monitoring, and the last one in integrative assessment. And another challenge is the participation of stakeholders and also the public awareness. And for doing this, we have one important work package, which is the dissemination. But from here, I'm going to focus only on indicators. And for doing this, we have developed this Devo tool, which is a help for stakeholders. You can check this web page from the project, in which you can download this software in order to check indicators, to test indicators, and you can download also the deliverable on these promising indicators. The main sources for this tool come from the reports from the different member states, but also we have studied the reports and the information from different European directives like the Water Framework Directive or Habitats Directive and others, in order to, and also the Regional Sea Conventions, in order to put together all the information from these sources related to indicators and then study them. From here, we have a catalog. We have identified a catalog of more than 500 indicators, biodiversity indicators, used by the different countries. And you can, from Devo tool, you can obtain information on the indicator description, also in the data requirements for the indicators, the relation with the different descriptors within the Marine Strategy Framework Directive, also the status of the development of these indicators, the geographical coverage, if they apply only for one regional sea or for the whole Europe, also the application of the different habitats, and the application to different biodiversity components. For instance, if they apply for phytoplankton, macroalgae, sea mammals, etc. And finally, the response to human pressures, to different human pressures. You can see here a figure in which there are the different indicators for the different descriptors. Descriptor 1 for biodiversity, and in the two columns you can see if the descriptors are only for one descriptor, in this case for biodiversity, or if the indicators deals with different descriptors, like in this case. So you can see that most of the indicators related with biological descriptors like biodiversity or food webs or seafloor integrity, and less with contaminants, etc. Here you can see the different ecosystem components addressed by the different indicators. Here you can see that most of the indicators deal with benthic invertebrates, less with fish, phytoplankton, macroalgae, angiosperms, marine mammals, etc., and very few with microbes or pelagic invertebrates. Then we have studied also the relation of the response of the indicators to the different human pressures. And you can see that most of the indicators are related with nutrients and organic enrichment, others with physical damage or physical loss or interference with hydrology, and then very few with non-indigenous species, extraction of species, etc. So you can look at this tool and also at the deliverable, and you can find more information on this. Also, we have studied the application of these indicators to the different regional seas. You can see that most of the indicators are developed for the Atlantic Ocean, then for the Baltic, Mediterranean, Black Sea, and also we have studied some of them to the non-European countries. The functionalities of the DEVO tool are various, and you can undertake different analyses using this tool. For example, the most promising indicators, and then you have the possibility also to select indicators from the catalog using the metadata catalog, and also you can score and rank the indicators in order to select the most promising indicators. You can interrogate the DEVO tool to select the most promising operational indicators, or the most promising indicators for development, or the most promising indicators at large scale, using indicators used at the global scale. And finally, we have identified major gaps in the indicators used in Europe. In relation to the Marine Strategy Framework Directive descriptors, we think that there is a need to develop indicators working at the ecosystem level. There is a lack of indicators working at the genetic structure of the population. There is a lack of indicators also related to the non-indigenous species. there is an overlap of indicators working for biodiversity and also for seafloor integrity. There is a lack of biodiversity indicators related to microbes, pelagic invertebrates, and reptiles. There is also a lack of indicators related to habitats and communities associated to ice. And also there is very few indicators for abyssal and bathyal habitats. In relation to pressures, it is important to highlight that the reliability of indicators showing the effects of pressures must be demonstrated. In most cases, this is not demonstrated. In the status of the development of indicators, this is important. Many of the operational indicators have not targets. And in order to check the operationality of these indicators, we need to get targets to compare against the monitoring data. And then most of the indicators lack measure of confidence and uncertainty analysis. And that's all. If you want more information, you can check the DEVOTES project webpage. Thank you very much.
Okay.